Well, there it is. We just had our first Nintendo Direct, full Nintendo Direct of 2019, and I have to say, they did a pretty good job with it. There were a lot of games, some surprises, and some pretty cool ones to kind of end the show. So there seemed like, out of recent Directs, it felt like this one was very crowded, and it seems that Nintendo's 2019 is just packing in just a ton of games. In fact, when I was kind of getting the games together for this video, I was a bit surprised at how many there were there. There's a lot. I counted almost 30 games, it seemed like. So yeah, a lot of stuff shown off in this Direct. So we're going to go by and go through almost all of them as much as we can. So let's actually start off with what they started with, which was great because it got people really excited as we pretty much jumped right into Mario Maker 2. And this is one that people have been waiting for. I know some people like Bob from Wolf Den probably lost their minds when they saw this. Yes, Super Mario Maker 2 is real, it's a thing, and it's coming sooner than even I thought. It's actually going to be coming out right around, it seems, E3 time in June of 2019, and they showed off a bunch of stuff, including, yes, I know guys, hills. There are hills there, so there you go, you can do that. They also had some touches and some callouts there to like Mario 3D World, for example. So it looks like they're adding a good bit of stuff there, and it's going to be more interesting now because they have lifted kind of those restrictions that they had previously when the regular Mario Maker was around that Nintendo had on YouTube and Twitch. So if you liked kind of the content you're seeing at that time, where people were downloading levels, playing through them, and having a good time on that, you're going to see more of it now with Super Mario Maker 2. So that game's going to come out, and it's going to pretty much go viral online like instantly. So it's going to be kind of neat kind of to see how that all goes down. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate got a new update. Update 3 is coming out apparently, and while we just got Update 2, we just know apparently this is coming out soonish or later on. They did also say that Joker is releasing before the end of April, and that's about it. They didn't show anything else from Joker, just that he'll be there before the end of April. They showed Box Boy and Box Girl. They showed Captain Toad Treasure Tracker getting new DLC as well as a new bundle. Apparently, like the first part of that DLC you can just check out on there, and then the rest will be available later on as paid DLC, and then there's also a free update coming to it with co-op, it looked like, that they added. Marvel Ultimate Alliance was shown with a summer release window. They also showed Captain Marvel, as well as some of the mechanics, including kind of like their super moves and everything, so looking good there. Pretty cool to see that over the summer. I want to note that it seems like Nintendo is packing a lot into the summer 2019 window, which is great because generally the releases kind of slow down for summer. It seems like Nintendo's 2019 is going to have a big emphasis on the, it seems June, July, August months, and then we don't even know what else is coming out in like September, October. For those wanting an Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster was announced coming May 21st. We'll have to see a bit more about that because when they showed the trailers for some of those games, like in Assassin's Creed 3, for example, the frame rate seemed pretty choppy, but we've seen that before in past Directs, and then the game ran smoother than it did in the trailer, so we'll see about that. Tetris 99. This was a weird one that got announced. It's a free-to-play Tetris Battle Royale game, almost, it seems like. And, of course, people who have the online can play online with it then, but it was an odd thing to see thrown in there because they seem to stress more towards getting the Nintendo Online service to play this. So it seems like it's put out there to try to drive subscriptions more than anything as a free-to-play game that would leverage the online as a Battle Royale Tetris-style game, which is weird. The music sounded really cool, though. Fire Emblem Three Houses got a very long, detailed look explaining the story and everything around it. Looked good. I mean, it looked like Fire Emblem, so if you're a Fire Emblem fan, you're going to probably be into this one. And then they gave us a release date that was later than we all thought it would be. They said it'd be July 26th, whereas previously it was supposed to come out in the spring of this year. So a bit of a bummer there that it's falling basically to the midsummer, July 26th. But they did say they needed more development time on it, and there you go. You can't really rush a game like a Fire Emblem. If you want it to be good, you got to spend your time with it. So I think Fire Emblem fans understand because what they saw probably got them really excited for it. Here was a weird announcement. This is one that caught me off guard, and I think several others as well. Hellblade is coming over. That's coming to the Switch this spring, so that is actually out in the next couple of months. And when I saw that pop up, I knew people would be surprised, right? I was surprised. I said, wow, this is happening. It seems like, though, because it's coming out in the spring, this was probably a deal that was signed probably before Ninja Theory was even picked up by Microsoft, to be honest. They've probably been developing it and porting it over for a bit now, so I wouldn't look at this. I saw people talking about, oh, what's that mean for Nintendo and Microsoft? I think this is one of those situations where, like when Microsoft picked up Obsidian, they still had contracts previously they had to fulfill, and Microsoft said, we'll let these companies fulfill their contracts, don't worry about it. I think that's kind of the situation there, right? I think Ninja Theory had already signed a deal with Nintendo to move this over and everything, and they already had plans to, and this was them kind of finishing it out. Kind of cool to see that, though, just show up. I think some people were really surprised, and honestly, it looked pretty good there on the Switch, so we'll see, I'm sure, plenty of comparisons about that, but interesting port there. Another interesting port was Dead by Daylight. That was one that surprised me a bit to see show up. I didn't know if a lot of people played it still, but to see that one come over is kind of cool. I haven't really been into Dead by Daylight at all, but I do know a lot of people do enjoy that one. Interesting to see that one pop up. Deltarune Chapter 1. That's coming February 28th. That's the one that showed up on PC almost randomly, and it was kind of cool. It was actually a fairly sizable demo that was free, and if you liked Undertale, you're going to check it out. You may have also already played it, though, on PC, because it doesn't exactly need a beast of a computer to play it, so you might have already played it, but there you go. It's coming to the Switch as well. Now, we did have some shadow drops. We talked about this, hoping that we would see some cool things released like today. I already talked about Tetris 99, that is out today. But we also had a number of demos. This was interesting because Demon X Machina is getting prototype missions, or basically a demo essentially that's going to give them some feedback, which is, they really want feedback. Think of like Octopath Traveler, right? When that got several different demos, they put them out there hoping to get your feedback so they can work on it and fine tune it. They did say that Demon X Machina is still slated for like midway through this year. I heard summer and even fall, so somewhere in there it's still looking to come out, but they are comfortable enough to put out a demo for us to try, which I'm going to be trying that later on tonight, definitely, and then give them some of our feedback, so that's kind of cool. Yoshi's Crafted World also getting a demo tonight. Another good one there. And then we talked about Final Fantasy. We were thinking Final Fantasy 7 might have gotten Shadow Drop today, and the 9 might fall to like the following month. We actually had to flip those around. It's weird, I know. 9 is actually coming out today. It's actually out now by the time you're watching this. You go pick it up, it's $21. And then Final Fantasy 7 appears to be coming out at the end of March. So that threw me off a bit, I'll admit. I thought it was going to be the other way around, probably just because, you know, chronologically I was like, okay, yeah, it's, you know, in order there for numbers, but no, they flipped around on us. We also saw Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition coming in the fall. It seems like it's going to be just a straight-up worldwide release all at once, which is great, because we were a little concerned, right? It would come out in Japan, then later on in the next year or anything. Nope, looks like they're doing it all at once. It did have a 2D, 3D mode, which was really cool to see because, of course, it's like the 3DS version. You could switch between them. Visually, it looked great. I was very happy about that. New story modes to it. Orchestral music, dual audio for voiceover, whether it's Japanese or English tracks and everything. And it is going to be awesome. So I am excited to see this get launched later on this year in the fall. Exciting stuff there. We did also see Rune Factory 4 get mentioned as coming over to the Switch, and then Rune Factory 5 is now in development. One of those things where they just bring the old one over and then say, oh yeah, don't worry, we're working on the next one. Rune Factory 5 is coming later on. No real time or anything on that, just saying it's in development now. And then we saw a few new games, new IPs. We saw Astral Chain, which looked very interesting. That's actually coming from Platinum Games. So Hideki Kamiya, of course, is on there. They have people from Nier Automata on there. Looked interesting. I need to see a little more about it. Looked kind of like a pretty cool little action style anime game there, but I need to see a bit more about that and see kind of where everything's going with the story and just the way the gameplay mechanics all work. We also saw a new RPG from Square Enix, another new IP, Onanaki, and that also looked kind of neat. At first it looked like it was a straight RPG, but then they showed a bit more where it looked more like an action RPG where, of course, you hit the enemies and numbers pop up and the bar, you know, drops and everything. So, again, a little more about that. We saw a very brief trailers for both of these games, the two new IPs, one from Square and one from Platinum Games. But either way, cool to see Platinum Games get to make another new game, a new IP. Appears to be exclusive to the Switch along with Onanaki. Good stuff there. And then we had to finish up strong, right? They had to hit us with something really cool. I think they could have done something really big, but this was cool. This was neat. I have some concern about this game, looking at the art style, but the fact that it is happening is really cool. Yes, Zelda Link's Awakening is getting remade. It's coming to the Switch. They did specifically flash 2019 as the release year, so no like, oh, summer, fall, holiday. We don't really know any of that. We just know that it is coming 2019, and yes, it is awesome to see this happening. I have, again, concerns with the art style. Link's face looks a little weird, a little scary, a little lifeless, but the game itself looks cool, kind of that, again, isometric 2.5D kind of look and everything. Looks like they're using what appears to be like advanced shadowing techniques and everything, so everything looks kind of shiny, but it also looks like everything has some good depth to it, shadow work and everything, so I'm looking at this and I'm saying this is going to be great. Need that special edition, by the way. Need a full collector's edition, because I want a collector's edition for Link's Awakening that's getting remade in 2019 after playing it on the Game Boy, what feels like forever ago when I was little. So yeah, I'm in for that. Even if it's nostalgia selling me on it, don't care. I'm in, but I would like to see them add more content to it. I don't know if it's good enough just to remake it. I think they should be adding extra stuff to it, whether it's full dungeons or maybe expand on the dungeons that are already there, add more to it, right? Like, Sonic Mania came out. That was $20 just as an example. But they added a lot to the different levels that we already knew. So if they take the dungeons that we already know and they add more to it, maybe they have challenge dungeons or just expand them, that's going to be really cool. Either way, really neat to see this game remade. We heard 2D Zelda. I wasn't sure what it was. To hear that it's a Link's Awakening remake is awesome. So overall, I looked at this Direct and I say, wow, they packed a lot of games in there. Their 2019 going into the holidays is pretty packed, which is good because, to be honest, the January, February, March, kind of April, not a lot. But once you get into like June and then going forward, it is going to be like heavily packed. I mean, we just talked about all those games. They didn't show Animal Crossing here. There was no Luigi's Mansion. They did briefly mention Bayonetta 3. There was nothing to do with the new Pokemon game that's coming out. And then that's like we're pretending like we know everything that's coming out. They probably have at least one or two other games that aren't even announced for this holiday. They're going to try to jam a lot of games. We're going to get to a point where there is going to be multiple games per month from Nintendo, not just counting third parties, this year. That's just going to be boom, 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 jamming a couple into each month going into the holidays. So it's, I'm going to start saving because they're going to pack a lot of stuff in there. I think I would have liked to have seen just something about Animal Crossing if they could have, a Luigi's Mansion. But, of course, E3 is in 4 months. Yeah, we just did this Direct. 4 months from now, we're going to have another Direct at E3, and then we'll probably have another one in, like, September. So it seems like Nintendo is getting ready to really really start hitting things hard in their third year for the Switch, which is after, what, the 3rd of March coming up. Then we're into the third year. That's usually when development cycles have caught up, and that's usually when development cycles that were started when the Switch was introduced start to finish up. And then we start seeing a lot of stuff released, like we're starting to see now. So third and fourth year for the Switch is going to be something else. And they're kicking off the third year really well. Like the Direct, I thought it was one of their better ones, mostly because they had a lot of games here, and it looks like we're getting a lot of those games soon. So really cool. Let me know what you guys think about the Direct down below. I'm very curious about your thoughts on this, whether it's the 2D Zelda, maybe you like some of the third-party stuff, whether it's the offerings from Square, or maybe you like the weird out-of-nowhere announcements like, Hellblade, or maybe you like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and you like to see that that's coming out over the summer and you think it looks good. Let me know, guys, down below what you think. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, dislike if not, and I'll see you in the next video.